Yeah, I mean, I really don't care where it is. I love going to Japan anyway, so if I were to fight out there for the first time, that would be great. But like you said, if it's in the United States, that's great as well, just because there's a lot of Mexican American fans that will support. So, I mean, it is what it is. Wherever the fight ends up being, I don't care as long as the fight happens.
Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez just called out Naoya Inoue for a fight to make in Japan as early as Inoue recovers from his recent win.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people have been mentioning that fight even before I became who I am today. So I know when that fight does happen, it's going to be huge for the sport of boxing.
Shifting the focus to what comes next, Tom Gray believes Inoue's next destination is a blockbuster showdown with Bam Rodriguez, dismissing the idea of a Nakatani rematch despite the challenger's belief that he learned enough over 12 rounds to do significantly better.
When I come back here, Rudy Hernandez is talking about a rematch, right? He's bang up for a rematch. He thinks that after 12 rounds with Inoue, they've learned a lot and they can do much better and they would go after him quicker. But I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. I can't see it. I think Inoue's on borrowed time and he's got his own plans. He's in the monster business, and I think his next fight will be Bam Rodriguez after this fight. So I don't think we're going to see him until the very end of this year or the beginning of next, conceivably. He's had 5 fights in about 16 months. I can understand him wanting a rest. He's 33 years old. He's not far off the point where you're calling him a veteran now, and his body needs time to rest.
You and Naoya Inoue, you have a big fight coming up. He has a very big fight coming up early next month. You want to go back down, obviously, to fulfill Undisputed, but what would happen if that fight came on the table?
I'm ready whenever. You know, that fight's been brought up just as much as Chocolatito fight back then, so if that fight was presented to me right now, I'd definitely go ahead and take it.
Bam has already proven he'll chase fights across weight classes. Now, as a potential fight with Inoue nears, he insists that "I'm willing to fight whoever, whenever," but the risk is that Inoue can flip the match with him.
My next fight was supposed to be Nakatani. Things were already in the works, so you know that just goes to show that I'm willing to fight whoever, whenever. But obviously things didn't go that way, so here I am fighting Martinez, but those 2 fights are definitely 2 fights that I do want to.
Looking further, boxing insider Sean Zittel suggests that while a move up to featherweight remains a possibility on Inoue's horizon, the fight that truly captures the imagination is a massive showdown against Bam Rodriguez on Japanese soil.
Now, it's all house money from here. He's already cemented himself and his legacy. So if one of the featherweights who are younger and bigger than him get him, it's no shame there. It's no big deal. I think going forward, though, the biggest fight for him over there would be Bam Rodriguez moving up. That's a huge little man fight. But I think maybe someone, if Carrington could win a unification and vault himself to the top of the heap of the featherweight division, that becomes his Prince Nassim Hamed, Kevin Kelly, if he's looking for that thing, if he's still interested in having a signature moment in the United States.
Eddie Hearn, after watching Inoue fight, came away more convinced than ever that Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez has everything it takes to beat him. He admits that for a long time, he thought the step up might be too much for Bam, but seeing him feel big, strong, and right at home at bantamweight completely changed his view. With Bam just 26 years old and Inoue 33, Hearn believes the opportunity is open and the timing couldn't be better.
I watched Inoue up close in Saudi, and I've never been more convinced that Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez beats him. Honestly, like for a long period of time, I thought it might be a step too far for Jesse, but now Jesse's up at bantamweight and feels big and strong there. Like, I just think he's too good for him. He's 26 years old, and what's Inoue, 33 now? Like, I don't see Bam losing to Inoue.
What makes Hearn's confidence even stronger isn't just the physical or technical argument, it's what he sees in Bam's mental state. He describes a fighter with zero doubt, someone who doesn't just believe he can go to Japan and win, but actually wants to. For Hearn, this isn't just a promotional pitch, it's a genuine belief that when this fight finally happens, Bam's heart and fearlessness will be the deciding factor.
Respect this, he's an amazing fighter, and he's a superstar. I know Bam beats him, because Bam's got it in here. And Bam don't give a fuck. Like, Bam will go to Japan tomorrow. He wants to go to Japan. And there is absolutely no doubt in Bam's head that he beats Naoya Inoue. So, He's got a fight against Vargas, who's a very, very good fighter. It's not going to be easy, but come through that. Let's just make it happen.
Adding on another take, Tim Bradley highlights how Inoue made a critical mid-fight adjustment after Nakatani found success by stepping up, reasserting his dominance and proving his championship-level adaptability. Tim explains that Inoue's ability to neutralize Nakatani's rangy, counter-punching style while staying technically locked in raises serious doubts about whether Bam Rodriguez can land cleanly against him.
Inoue was looking like he needed some oxygen. He sure did. You know, and what brought his ass to life was that cut. That's what brought his ass to life. You know, when your opponent, you know, you see a cut, it energizes their ass. Oh, it energizes. You see blood, they like, oh yeah, I want more of that. Yeah, that's what killers want, more blood. Inoue, that's what it was. He wanted more blood, and he went after that damn mine. He attacked it, and then you see the reaction, you know, and man, Nakatani, man, you shouldn't have made that damn reaction, bro.
In a heated post-fight breakdown, Tim Bradley doesn't hold back, warning that while Bam has the heart and the numbers to pressure Inoue, one brutal truth stands in his way. For Rodriguez, this isn't just a tough fight in Bradley's eyes. It's a matchup he's already losing before he throws a single punch.
That Inoue can be attacked. Yeah, you can attack him. If you can take his power, you can attack him. For real. That's all I think it was Picasso did was attack him. Picasso had a shitload of success attacking him. And I know Bam gonna attack him and shit. I know Bam gonna come and he gonna bring the numbers. Yeah, he gonna bring the numbers, but I think Bam is too fucking small. He too small. Inoue too strong, too powerful. You know, got the speed too to match him. And the athleticism to match him. So, but anyways, that's my thoughts. Yeah, Bam, bring your ass on. Yep, he gonna clean your ass up too.
Bam Rodriguez, who has long existed in the same conversation as the pound-for-pound elite, has watched talk of a showdown with Naoya Inoue simmer for years. Now, as the prospect of that matchup continues to loom, he is convinced that when the two finally meet, the collision will be nothing short of a landmark moment in boxing history.
Honestly, I'm not too sure. Never, thought about that. I always imagined me and Inoue at 122 or Nakatani at 118, but like you said, Nakatani, he moved up, so it's really hard to say, but there's a lot of time. I'm still young and got a lot to go, so.
They see you and they see the monster, and it just looks different. You two look like different kinds of animals than everybody else. And that's really what super fights and eras are about. The dust settles, two guys are left standing. When you survey the landscape, is the monster that guy for you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people have been mentioning that fight even before I became who I am today. So I know when that fight does happen, it's going to be huge for the sport of boxing.
Meanwhile, about his very next fight, Bam Rodriguez keeps it simple on Martinez. He knows enough to know he's getting a non-stop, come-forward fighter, and that's all he needs. The plan is built, the date is set, and on November 22nd, he's going out there to execute it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen past fights live, but I haven't gone back and watched film. But I just know he's a fighter that likes to come forward non-stop, throwing. But, I'm expecting a very tough fight from Martinez, and I know this is going to be a great fight for the fans. But, me and my team have put a plan together, and we're going to go out there November 22nd and execute it.
Looking forward to it.
But beyond the tactics and the preparation, what makes this fight truly different is the weight Bam is carrying into it, describing it as the biggest and most important fight of his entire career, a night where stepping out of every shadow and proving he belongs among the very best is no longer optional. For Rodriguez, this isn't just another fight, it's the statement the world has been waiting for.
And now, you focus on Martinez.
Now I'm here versus Martinez.
Yeah. How you feel about this guy?
I mean, I'm ready, man. This is the fight that, I've been wanting for a while. Before the Cafu fight was announced, they were in negotiations with Martinez. He ended up fighting Ioka.
Yep.
So we went our separate ways, but now we're meeting up again, and I'm more than excited for this fight, especially being on the card that it's on. It's huge, man. I'm more excited for this fight than I was for Cafu. And I was main event for Cafu, so that just goes to show how hungry I am, how motivated I am.
Bam approaches fight preparation with a calculated three-phase process, keeping training camp relaxed and grounded by bringing his family along, before gradually shifting into full lockdown mode as fight week arrives and the distractions get cut off. By fight day, once he steps into that venue and begins his preparations, the outside world completely disappears.
Training camp is probably the most chill part of the whole process. The person I am, I take my family to camp, so it's just like any other day when I'm out there training. But then fight week is when things start to change, and mentally you lock in, you block out all the DMs, things like that. And then weigh in, you eat obviously, and then you start focusing on the fight a little bit. You try to get away from it a bit, but in the back of your mind, you know you're fighting the next day, so you're like, all right.
Wait, is that nerves?
It's not nerves, it's just like, I guess, eagerness. I'm always eager to get in the ring. I've never been nervous. I've been nervous maybe like one fight my whole career.
Another boxing analyst, Wade Plemons, leaves no doubt about where Inoue stands, cementing him as a premier pound-for-pound fighter on the planet and an all-time great whose ability to handle adversity only adds another layer to an already extraordinary legacy. For Inoue, this wasn't just another fight, it was yet another chapter in a story that is quietly becoming one of boxing's greatest ever told.
The way that Inoue has continued to dominate, move up, it's him and Usyk. And Usyk's gonna get some favorability because he's in the heavier weight class, right? And because of the baddest man on the planet moniker. But Inoue just keeps delivering with great or good performances in all-time fashion over and over. So he might get the nod here. He might be the #1 pound-for-pound guy in the world. That's up for you guys to decide. I know that's gonna get messy in the comments, but y'all let me know. But then someone said, you know, all-time, where does he rank? Someone was saying all-time top 15, all-time this. I don't know. I know he's an all-time great. I can definitely say that. I think that's undisputed.
Looking ahead with genuine excitement, Wade Plemons dismisses the idea of a rematch, arguing that with neither fighter having shown their absolute best on the night, the possibility of a second encounter between two athletes of this caliber is almost too compelling to ignore. For boxing, this isn't just a rematch worth making, it could be the fight that surpasses everything the first one promised.
So again, a massive win for Inoue. Some people are talking about a rematch. I wouldn't mind a rematch. I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind a rematch because they both sold out. Clearly, it's a massive draw in Japan. The fight can, I think, be closer, and both guys could perform better. It could be closer, it could be further apart. We could get a knockout the second time around. You know, Nakatani's 33, so I don't know. But I think a very good fight, not a great fight for either guy, and I think both guys, if they were to rematch, could put in a better performance.
Setting the scene from the opening exchanges, another boxing commentator notes that while the fight carried the feel of an Olympic-style matchup dominated by heavy headhunting, it was Inoue's vast big-stage experience that allowed him to quietly control both the early rounds and the championship rounds when it mattered most. For Inoue, this wasn't just a performance, it was a masterclass in knowing exactly when and how to take over a fight.
You know, it reminded me of the Olympics. You know, a lot of headhunting though, a lot of headhunting. If you're more into like breaking somebody down in the body, this wasn't your fight, you know. But it came down to Inoue, you know, his experience in the big stage, really at the end of the day, carrying the earlier rounds and being able to win the championship rounds. But he did have some problems, you know, kind of like throwing himself in there a little bit when he was throwing his 1-2 or any of his two-piece combinations. He would kind of fall in.
Turning his attention to what comes next, the serious questions about Inoue's path forward warn that moving up in division may come with risks that the recent performance didn't exactly silence, and that certain names waiting at the next weight class could present problems even the monster might not have answers for. When the conversation shifts to Bam Rodriguez, however, a far more fascinating and complicated picture begins to emerge, one where the skill argument is compelling, but a much darker and more physical question looms over everything. For this matchup, the real debate isn't about who's the better boxer, it's about something far more brutal and unforgiving that could decide the fight before the skills even get a chance to shine.
Now, people say, hey, listen, what's next for Inoue? You know, can he be successful moving up in the division to fight, you know, Bruce Carrington, the WBC champion? I don't know. I don't think so, man. Just with that performance, I don't feel like he should mess with Bruce Carrington. I think he might be too small, and Bruce might be just too good, honestly. And, you know, when it comes down to Jesse Bam Rodriguez, him moving up a division, I mean, can he hold the power of Inoue? Would that power be too much for him? Because when it comes to skill-wise and the matchup of, you know, the way, you know, Jesse uses his angles, I can see how he could be very successful.
Building on his ringside perspective in Tokyo, Tom Gray of Ring Magazine describes the fight as a tale of two halves, an opening stretch defined by extreme caution and reconnaissance from both fighters, before everything ignited at the midway point and Inoue found himself genuinely under pressure and in real trouble by the 10th round. A crucial head clash then shifted the momentum, leading into an explosive 11th round that completely changed the complexion of the fight.
Well, it was a fight of two halves, wasn't it? The first half very, very cautious, particularly on the part of Junto Nakatani, who was patient, but perhaps overly patient. As Inoue, like, both of them were doing a lot of reconnaissance. You know, there wasn't a lot of punching in the early rounds. But then when the fight ignited at the midway point, 6, 7, and then obviously Inoue really under the cosh, 8, 9, 10, in trouble, I thought, in the 10th round, before the head clash.
Adding further context to the cautious opening rounds, Tom Gray argues that at this level, one single mistake against a fellow knockout artist can end your night in humiliating fashion, and that reality forces even the most aggressive fighters to bide their time. Where he places the blame, however, is firmly on Nakatani, who he feels was guilty of being overly cautious, while Inoue, armed with 12 years of championship pedigree, quietly nicked rounds and banked points that ultimately proved decisive.
This is two of the best fighters on the planet. They're not going to go out there and fight like they're outside a bar. You know, if you make one mistake at that level against a fellow knockout artist, and you could end up flat on your back, looking up at the lights, humiliated on an early round stoppage loss. So they bided their time. I just felt that Junto was perhaps guilty of being overly cautious. Inoue, because of his championship pedigree, he's been a champion for 12 years, knows how to nick rounds. He knows how to win rounds, and the early rounds are every bit as important.
Closing out thoughts with a candid admission, another boxing analyst, Eric Gomez, confesses that the fight didn't quite deliver the explosive drama he had anticipated, expecting knockdowns and high-stakes moments, only to get a headbutt as the night's biggest flashpoint. He's quick to give Inoue his flowers, though, praising his resilience, durability, and an iron chin that absorbed shots that had previously finished other fighters. For Plemons, this wasn't disappointment in Inoue but a lingering feeling that the real fireworks are still waiting to happen.
Solid fight. A little bit disappointing for me because I thought it was going to be like some knockdowns and some just more drama, and the drama we got was like a headbutt and stuff like that. Overall, props to Naoya Inoue. He did his thing, resilient, definitely durable. Like some of the shots he was taking, you had Maloney or whatever got knocked out brutally by Nakatani. So Naoya Inoue definitely got a chin. He's definitely formidable.
Delivering perhaps his most provocative take, Wade Plemons argues that despite the decision victory, there are clear signs of regression and physical slowing in Inoue, a natural consequence, he believes, of the brutal wear and tear that comes with fighting at the lighter weights, where 100-punch rounds take a unique toll on the body over time. He points to the cautionary tale of fighters like Estrada as a warning sign of what that accumulated damage eventually looks like. For Plemons, this isn't just an observation, it's a ticking clock that changes everything about how we should view Inoue's remaining timeline at the top.
Even though Naoya Inoue won a decision by a couple rounds on pretty much all the judges' scorecards, there is definite regression and a slowing down. And that's what sometimes happens faster to those guys in the little booger weights, the little sperm weights, because they're used to throwing 100 punches around. It's just a lot of wear and tear in your body to fight like that, you know what I mean? So you'll see like Estrada.
Jesse Rodriguez has said he's open to moving up in weight for a potential super fight with Naoya Inoue. It's a bold idea, considering Inoue has been dominating bigger divisions with knockout power and elite skill. Bam is one of the most talented young fighters out there, but stepping up to face someone like Inoue would be a massive challenge. If this fight were to happen, it would instantly become one of the biggest matchups in boxing. Bam would need to prove he can carry his speed and technique up in weight, while Inoue would be looking to show why he's considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. So what do you think? Can Bam Rodriguez handle the size and power of Naoya Inoue, or is this too much too soon? Would you want to see this fight happen, and who would you pick to win? Let me know your thoughts.